skinny face, hypnotized by eyes. I don't have what to say, losing my hand into your gaze. You've been to many dogs, those shames, but the soul remains the same. Just let me know if the sky is blue and disappears the moon. Give me a call, I will look at your door, saying I love you too.
My name is Abra, I'm 21 years old. I started wearing a hijab really recently actually, and it was more of a respect thing for me. I didn't feel as though I was getting respect from any male members within my community in this area. When I go back home to visit my family, I was always approached as a girl that would be quite easy and a girl that they would just want to date. But since I started wearing a headscarf, like, people take me a lot more seriously. I started wearing it at the end of September this year. I wear my scarf differently all the time. It all depends on what I'm wearing, how I feel on that day, and it's all about modesty as a guideline for how you should be dressing. If you wear a headscarf, there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's up to you.
So I believe it's a requirement for Muslim women to wear a scarf, hijab, to be more exact. There's a whole lot of conflict about what the hijab actually entails and how it looks like and how much it should cover a woman's body, so on and so forth.
It was a happy moment in general. I was 13 years old. I just went to my mom and told her that I want to start wearing hijab because I knew I had to back then. My mother told me that I didn't have to, and I was still young, but I really wanted to because I felt that at this young age I had the power of choice to change my style and to start wearing this new thing that would change how people look to me, and I felt like I'm a grown-up now. In the Quran it says that women should dress modestly, but it doesn't define how women should dress modestly. It just says that we should be modest in order not to attract attention to ourselves. I believe that concept of modesty is very contextual. Like, what is modest here in the UK would be very different from what's modest in Gaza. Wearing what I'm wearing now in Gaza would attract attention to me, but wearing what I'm wearing here in the UK wouldn't attract attention to me. So it's all about the purpose of wearing hijab.
It wasn't something you heard of generally, especially because in the area that I live in, you don't find niqabis, so it was never a conversational topic. But I think it was something that came up in a conversation with a friend, and it just triggered a thought. So I went and I did some research on it, some Islamic research, and then slowly I became more aware of the niqabis around me, and I just thought, wow, that's really nice, the way that they walk so confidently, and it doesn't bother them, like, despite everything that happens, 9/11 and all of these terrorist attacks that happen and that we hear of on the media, none of this phases them. They still walk with such confidence, So I guess I became more inspired, and it took me a few months before I came to a firm decision. But the more I thought about it, the more I really wanted to do it. I started wearing niqab in second year of college. So in the first year, I didn't wear niqab. I just wore a headscarf and a long dress. And in first year, I was a very sociable person. Everyone spoke to me, and everyone said hi. I said hi to everyone, and so on. And when I started wearing niqab in second year, the people's attitude towards me changed drastically. I mean, the people who, when I walked down the corridor, the people who would normally say hi to me wouldn't even look up at me. So the change was very huge.
If if a woman covers up, and this could be fully covering up the eyes and the face and everything, if she does so out of sense of obligation, she does so to please her God, and it's from her own choice, I 100% support her right to do so. And vice versa, if she doesn't want to wear it and she doesn't see it as an obligation and she still claims to be Muslim, I 100% support her as well. So for me, it's important that woman has a choice.
It is as problematic to coerce a woman into wearing a veil as it is to coerce her out of wearing it. So because in both of these discourses, the agency of the women themselves becomes invisibilized. It's something that becomes secondary to the rhetorical and discursive aspect of the exercise of power through using the women as symbols. This idea of women's bodies as the resource on which politics itself gets to be constructed. So the left and the right are actually defined by their attitudes to whether they are trying to free women from the veil or whether they are trying to protect women by putting them inside the veil. State attempts to ban the veil, firstly because of their motivations have often lain in Islamophobic discourses. Secondly, it goes against this idea of people having the freedom to wear what they want to wear. If the veil is problematic, why is it not problematic that some women choose to wear stockings or something else?
People automatically judge you just because you're wearing hijab, and they automatically think you're not from England. That's why, for me, especially for me, when people hear me talk, they're like, she speaks English. Like, they're quite shocked sometimes.
You attract more attention when you wear hijab. People would look at you, some would have these preconceptions that you're oppressed, some people have some Islamophobic ideas maybe, some people would avoid sitting next to you on the tube. That's not a very bad thing, but usually, for example, if there are 5 empty seats, the other 4 seats would be filled up before the one next to you, if you get what I mean. Like, people would usually try to avoid sitting next to a hijabi girl.
There's always this general concern amongst Muslims when a terrorist attack happens. Our first reaction is always, please God, don't ever be Muslim. There's always this anticipation, is it Muslim, is it not? Everyone's contacting each other, everyone's glued to the TVs and their phones and stuff. And in some cases it is Muslim, and we were very anxious. A lot of people, I know of cases where Muslim women don't wear the hijab in the days following the attacks out of fear of being assaulted. There's a lot of tension. I always say when I go on public transport, a day after, a few days after, there's always tension in the air. And I'm extra cautious of how I act, how I am perceived. Also, just even small things like on the platform, I know me and my friends talk about it a lot. Not standing too close to the train tracks in case you might get pushed over.
Niqab is a very personal choice, and it's something that we should all, if it's something you want to do, then go ahead. If not, then maybe you shouldn't be forced.
I think people believe that Muslim women are forced to wear the hijab because they don't know otherwise.
Something to do with the protection for women. Yeah, because they don't want to show all parts of their body. And they feel like it's more appropriate.
I think it's a personal decision. I think certainly in the UK, I think there are situations or occasions where it is put on to the woman to do that. But generally, I think in this country, it's a personal choice.
Women, they are oppressed to wear their hijab. They can't show really their complete identity. So, as part of their religion, they are oppressed to wear it.
It has been a shock to many people when I told them I am a Muslim. They would look at me like, "Oh, you don't look like a Muslim." Maybe some Muslims may even say, "Oh, but that you don't wear a headscarf, so that doesn't make you a Muslim." So, but I've never had it first-hand discrimination. I just probably people think it. My driving instructor, funny enough, like maybe 2 weeks ago, I must have said the word inshallah, and I carried on the conversation, and then he was like, "Hang on, what did you just say?" And then I repeated the conversation. He's like, "No, did you say inshallah?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, you're a Muslim." I was like, yeah, I'm a Muslim. And then he was like, oh, you don't look like a Muslim. I never knew you were a Muslim. So yeah. In my family, nobody wears a headscarf. We're all religious in the aspect that we have, you know, we have very strong faith, and you know, we pray, but nobody wears the headscarf. I think it has to do with the culture. It's not in our tradition to wear a headscarf. The older women wear headscarves, some of them.
But one time I was on the bus and a man asked me, he came up to me and he asked me, did your husband make you wear that? And I turned around and I said, I don't even have a husband, so how can he force me? But I mean, I guess this idea that we're oppressed, it's ignorance to me. And for me, it's a matter of educating others, that I'm a symbol of Islam, and it's upon me to educate others. When they do come, when they say to me, you know, why do you wear that? What's that on your face? Or are you oppressed? Because in all honesty, no one forced this upon me. My niqab definitely makes me feel safer. I think I like the concept of being able to walk down the street and nobody knows. People only see what I want them to see. So if I want them to see my eyes alone, they can see that. If I want to take off my niqab, they can see that I have that control.
I don't understand how a piece of clothing on your head can be oppressive. Like, I understand that while doing my dissertation, I've seen like a lot of research about the patriarchal views on religion and how men over-dominate religion and things like that. And I get that, but the hijab, like a simple cloth over your head, is not a form of oppression. Like, I understand that there is a minute amount of people that are forced to wear the hijab, and it happens, but I'm not going to deny that. But the majority of the hijabis that I've spoken to throughout the journey of my dissertation have said that they've done it out of choice.
I would love to wear the hijab in the future. I think maybe, hopefully I won't be as self-conscious and, you know, not care that it doesn't suit me. I think maybe, probably, I would wear it quite loosely. Nowadays, people wear the hijab in different styles, and I would love to wear it like, quite like, just place it on my head, but not wrap it completely around.
The hijab to me, on a personal level, means, it first of all means that I'm submitting to God. The word Islam comes from the Arabic root of istislam, which means to submit. And part of me saying, despite what I feel about the hijab, or I might not want to wear a hijab, but I wear it, I choose to wear it every single day out of respect to God's words.
Niqab to me is my identity. I mean, I'm the same person with and without my niqab. It doesn't really make a difference. I guess it makes me feel different though. I feel empowered. I feel like, I literally feel like I can conquer the world when I put my niqab on.
Since I started wearing it, I get more respect from other people, but I have way more self-respect, like for myself, and a lot more confidence, and it's brought me so much closer to my religion, because I feel as though I need to represent it more.
Behind my headscarf, I like going out on nights out with my friends.
Word is not what we see. We can only live the experience of it. Life is a dream that obscures our brain. The reality is hidden, leading the way. Just let me know if the sky is blue when disappears the moon. Give me a call, I will know at your door, saying I love you.
The most I've been asked, that I can remember from the top of my head really, is how do you eat? And people sort of almost expect me to drink from a straw through my niqab. So they get a bit confused.
Do you sleep with it? Do you shower with it? So no, of course we don't sleep with hijab. We don't shower with hijab. We do have hair underneath.